The Milwaukee Bucks are currently on a 17-game winning streak after beating the struggling Grizzlies, and it should come as no surprise considering they have one of the best players in the East on their team and a good fit of role players surrounding him. So let's examine what makes this team work so well together on both sides of the ball and find out whether they truly are the team to beat in the East. In Milwaukee, all roads lead to Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he's putting in another stellar box score performance this season. One area where defenses are having some trouble stopping him is in isolation, and while we're used to his extremely long strides getting him into the lane for easy finishes, it's his increase of the three-point shot in this category that has been a bit of a revelation. He's kicked up his three-point attempts per game from 2.8 last year to 5 this year, and I suspect you can see a pattern. Whenever the opposing center has to pick him up, he tends to gravitate to the three-point line, knowing most of these shots are going to be fairly open, and he's taken this opportunity to hit a ton of his threes this year with multi-dribble ISOs out top. And while his rhythm is still very funky, he's slowly figuring out how to fling these shots up and out towards the hoop. And if the other team's big men have to step out to contest these, you'll start seeing easier shots for Giannis in the paint. One area that I've expected to be more efficient is in transition, and this is a worrying point for Bucks fans. It looks to me like defenses have started figuring out that he has fallen in love with the Euro step, and also sense he's an unwilling passer in these situations, allowing multiple defenders to gang up on him, but to also anticipate his long strides, allowing them to literally get out of the way to avoid the contact, but also maintain pressure of the shot. This has led to a number of ugly misses at the rim, and it might be time for Giannis to start learning more moves rather than allow good playoff defenses to take away a big chunk of his game. While I had felt Wes Matthews was coming to the end of his career, he's been a bit rejuvenated as purely a spot-up shooter, and this resurgence should come as no surprise considering he's playing alongside Giannis, who has continually set him up for good looks off of his deep post position. With the very real threat of a score down low, defenses start to focus solely on the Greek Freak, who has had no trouble finding Wes out on the perimeter, and Wes need only catch and shoot these open looks. It's not just post-ups from Giannis, however, as the sheer gravity of his drives also serve to open up great looks from beyond the arc, and look for these two to continue to improve their chemistry as the season wears on. The most important player after Giannis has got to be Khris Middleton, the 6'9 shooting guard that provides matchup problems for every opponent. He's their best pick-and-roll player with the ball, and it's primarily done through the dreaded mid-range game. But at his height, he can elevate over smaller defenders, and at 15 feet, these shots are great looks, where he doesn't have to force anything and just take what the defense gives him. It's a spot-up shooting that makes him so valuable, providing more space for Giannis post-ups, as well as, if his man dares to help down low, a costly mistake. This continues to happen against undisciplined teams, and once the defender's head is turned to the post-up, it's an easy kick-out for the open look behind the arc. The whole team feeds off of Giannis, and Middleton doesn't get threes just from his post-ups, as the drive from the high post sucks the defense in and gets a good look from the corner on the easy pass. But what makes Middleton even more difficult to cover is his ability to split and go, again finding that mid-range shot when smaller players are forced to rotate and pick him up. By not just standing around and jacking up threes, he forces the defense to make quick decisions on the fly, and often this hesitation allows him to get to his sweet spots on the floor for little jumpers and runners. Another favorite action to get him open for jumpers is when he back screens near the top of the key. His man is concerned with the cutter, and it allows him to pop up to the top and shoot an uncontested shot. Here it is again, and this time he catches it with 5 feet of space from behind the line and easily rises up over his defender to splash another three-pointer. This is truly a good way to get your shooters open, because if the defense doesn't react to the cutter, it's a layup. Middleton's man has to bump Giannis a little bit, and that's all the room Middleton needs to get back behind the line, rise up, and drop another bucket clean through the hoop. If the shot isn't there, this action flows right into a pick and roll. Middleton is feeling it and doesn't even need to use the ball screen as he drops this one in. While Eric Bledsoe is a frequent target of my frustration with his play, let's look at what's been working for him so far: the isolation. He's traditionally been good at this, as the game gets broken down to its simplest form, mano a mano. With his powerful body, he's a handful for any defender as he gets going downhill towards the hoop and can finish through contact. However, he's been making his mark with a three-point shot off the dribble in isolation, and that's something to keep your eye on. If he can continue to maintain his rhythm and consistency on these shots, it's a much-needed jolt for the Bucks' spread system. Someone who can create points on their own that's not named Giannis, because in the playoffs, teams will do a better job of shutting Giannis down and daring the others to beat them. The other main component to their offense is Brook Lopez. Last year, he was a revelation at center, spreading the floor with step-back threes and forcing the opponent's center to come way out on the perimeter to defend. While his percentage from three has taken a big hit, down to 30% from 37% last year, I imagine it's only a matter of time till he starts regressing to the mean. In the Bucks offense, it's not hard to find him. He gets his shots typically from running to a perimeter spot, either the corner or the wing, standing there for a bit, and simply waiting for a pass to come his way. Would I like to see him get more involved in other actions? Sure, it would make him more dangerous, but perhaps it's just not what the offense needs. So he'll stay back there and catch and shoot as much as possible, and judging by the quality of these shots, I'm now sure he'll get that percentage back up to at least league average. Defensively, they're leading the league in defensive rating, and they do it with lots of good athletes being physical with cutters. Watch DiVincenzo keep a body on Donovan Mitchell, preventing him from getting the handoff and then denying him. Another big thing for their defense is how low the big man drops in the pick and roll. They end up using Bledsoe to contest this shot because Lopez is over 10 feet away in the lane. Watch Wes Matthews use his body to take away the cut by Kawhi, then bump him when he tries to get low post position on the right side. Middleton is also using his body to get in the way of this cut. Lopez drops deep to contain, and the threat of the long-limbed Giannis closing out will make anybody think twice about shooting it. The Bucks invite Beverly to shoot it, who has struggled this year. They're not shy about helping one pass away, as we see Bledsoe come over on this drive. Drew had an open look but thinks better of it, and the Bucks want to force the wing screens to the baseline, then invite the mid-range shot no matter how close and open it is. If they deem you a non-shooter, they will simply go under every screen they can and dare you to shoot it and take their chances. DiVincenzo doesn't play a ton of minutes, but he's active on defense and good at fighting over screens. Another example of forcing the ball handler down to the baseline and the big man in the lane to contain. Good recovery by DiVincenzo, and the shot bricks. Another benefit of dropping so low is that the big man can still get over to the pocket pass and protect the rim if need be. It doesn't always end like this, but over enough possessions, you can get your share of stops. But I am worried about how willing they are to help one pass away in an effort to stop shots in the paint. It's a big reason why they're giving up the second most three-point attempts per game in the league, and their opponent three-point field goal percentage is a below average 19th. When you allow the help to come from this angle, it gives an easy pass to the ball handler and an easy shot to the shooter, as there's no way to recover and close out to contest these types of shots. The help should always come from the weak side, and my worry is that the good teams will find ways to exploit this and rain down threes to either keep them in games or extend their lead over the Bucks. All long streaks are impressive, don't get me wrong. But this particular one is littered with teams that have losing records. In fact, of the 17 consecutive wins, the only teams the Bucks have beaten with a winning record are the Pacers, Jazz, and Clippers. Granted, they've beaten the Clippers twice and had an opening night win over the Lakers, but this streak seems a lot more about luck of the schedule than anything else. It still seems like they're on course to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I'm going to need to see some more quality wins over tough opponents before I'm convinced this team is capable of a title run. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to B-Ball Breakdown so you can get alerted right away when we drop a new video. This season will be filled with incredible content, so don't miss it. You in?